Chelsea, Raheem Sterling, and also Ben Chilwell issue is still ongoing. The coach has made it clear to Raheem Sterling. Gundogan and Barcelona issue is still boiling. Today, I saw a tweet showing that Gundogan is flying from Barcelona to land Barcelona. I don't know how true it is, and I don't know how possible it is. Flying from Barcelona to land Barcelona. Manchester United still in the market, and they are still discussing with PSG about Manuel Ugarte, why the deal is delaying. I understand Manchester United finances is a big problem right now. We will be going detail into that as well. Whilst Arsenal, Mikel Arteta is to commit his future with Arsenal. What is the possibility? And Joao Felix have landed in Chelsea for sure, and he has said some few words. We will go details into that. With me, it's Sami, Emmanuel, and Eddie. And if you just join us and you are new, remember to hit the subscription button, like and share the video. And hey, your opinions are welcome. What's up, guys? Welcome to our Chile Sports. Sami, Chelsea issue. We all know that Maresca has made it clear to Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, so when it comes to Chelsea's issues, I think looking at the wage bill, Chelsea would like to offload Raheem Sterling because Raheem Sterling is taking 16 million a year. That is big money. But the guy is not providing any good quality services to Chelsea. So they needed him out. But then now, if you have studied something, there's always a controversial way of clubs getting players out. And Raheem Sterling has not been exclusion. Looking at the way he was excluded in the last game, and the Maresca said that it was a technical decision. But then information reaching me that no, it's a way to tell Sterling that it's time for him to leave, as well as Ben Chilwell and other guys. So it's really sad looking at a player with top quality and a player with such honors. But then right now, that is the way to go in order to get space to sign more players.
In order to get way to sign more players. And more on that, the coach has made it clear. It's not that Raheem Sterling is bad. He's a good player, a fantastic one, but he doesn't like the kind of wingers. I think, Ima, don't you think this could have done like internally and no one could have heard anything about Raheem Sterling nor Ben Chilwell? But the way his spokesperson came out to talk, don't you think that is causing that issue, blah, 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 in Chelsea camp and also in media?
Well, I think Maresca is not being fair to Raheem Sterling because we all watched the preseason, and if he wasn't part of your plans for this season, probably you shouldn't have used him in the preseason games. You could have benched him or something, but you use the guy in the preseason games, and later in the season you tell him he's not part of your plans. Maybe if you told him earlier, he would have looked for other options. Now we have about 2 weeks for the window to close or something. Now it's up to his agent and Raheem Sterling to try and find a solution to this whole situation. I think Maresca could have done better with the Raheem Sterling situation by telling him earlier on that, now we have Pedro Neto, we have other guys, so you can't compete with them, and you have to find a team, or you have to like move out of the club and try other options. Raheem Sterling is a professional. He will act professionally because there's no way he will come out and talk against the club or something. He will do everything through his agent. So when you hear Raheem Sterling's agent talking, basically it's Raheem Sterling's opinion he's sharing to the public. For me, I think they have to solve this situation amicably. They have to sit down as a team and a player under contract and find a solution to this whole situation. But personally, I think Maresca hasn't been fair to Raheem Sterling. Yeah.
Maresca has not been fair to Raheem Sterling. But on my own side, I think when he came in, he wanted to access every bit of player in Chelsea camp. So giving him that opportunity, maybe he was looking forward to see how possible Raheem Sterling could adapt to his system. And probably maybe he has seen it clearly that he's not adapting and he has to look another way. Even though, hey, it's the coach decision.
Actually, not cutting you. Did he assess Nicholas Jackson?
Eddie, your opinion on Ben Chilwell? United were linked with him, and now Chelsea looks like they are offloading Ben Chilwell as well because Maresca also made it clear to him that he will struggle with some minutes with his project. What do you think about that? Will United still go for him as they are looking options or options for the left back?
Considering the left back of Manchester United, we made contact with Chelsea for Ben Chilwell, but I think things didn't probably work out. And now, since Chelsea have made their intention clear that Ben Chilwell is not part of their project this season, I think part of their project, I think there are some couple of players who are supposed to leave, I think, Chelsea. And now the whole situation is, I think, if Manchester United, if we are still interested, although we at first we show interest, but it's up to the board again probably to make contact. If Ben Chilwell is also interested in Chelsea, I think this is the opportunity for him to tell his agent that now we can, I think, push the deal or sit with the board of Manchester United probably to see this deal done. I think that's the best way for Benchiro to do. Then I think this deal will be done. If not, I think you have to consider different options as well. Yeah.
Cesc Fabregas and Como are actually moving to Real Madrid for Nico Pes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so he's a good player. He's a youngster and he will never have minutes in Real Madrid. That is what Real Madrid is noted for. A club where they have youngsters, but at the end of the day, they sell them. And it's a normal thing. They have been doing it for ages to ages. So looking at a player like Nico Pass going to Como is a good deal. And especially, I'm really happy with what Florentino Perez is doing with Madrid. It's a young player like that. The money he's going to charge for Nico Pass is 6.5 million. And I think it's a good deal. Having a new coach like Fabregas trying to get young players, I think at the end of the day, we'll see how it goes.
At the end of the day, we'll see how it goes. Right on Arsenal. Arsenal are now looking to take Mikel Arteta as a permanent coach for sure. Is it possible as the caliber of Arsenal, and yet we haven't seen any kind of trophies, but Arsenal is committed to take him on? Do you think it's the right move for the club?
Yeah, the club offering Mikel Arteta a long-term contract isn't a bad decision from the club. But personally, I think they have to wait for the end of this season before they can give such a contract out. We've seen Mikel Arteta's performances like for the past 2 seasons, and it's not been bad. He's placed second in both seasons, and it's like this. We've seen improvement in the Arsenal team. For me, the only problem is like he's not winning trophies for the club. We can't just rely on you being second and you always go a season without like a trophy or something. So I feel like they should just wait after this season. If his performance is still up there, they can give him that contract for him to sign. His time with us now, I think he came in 2019. He's been with the club for almost 5 years now. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I think after Arsene Wenger, the only manager we've had that has really brought the Arsenal identity is Mikel Arteta. So they are not wrong. But for me personally, I think they should just hold on a bit and let's wait and see how this season he will perform. Maybe he'll just get a trophy or maybe 2 trophies this season. Then we can give him that contract so that he can use these guys or add a couple of guys to the team. We can compete with the big boys in terms of like the European competitions. Personally, I think they have to wait for some time because there are still a lot of coaches out there that we can sign. Yeah, we can sign. So he just relax a bit for the season to end. Then they can give him the contract.
I understand that Manchester United is a bit short of cash in London. Manuel Ugarte. They are waiting for players to be sell, McTominay and the rest. But then they are still in that deal. Do you think it's possible, or is that the reason why United is dealing with Ugarte?
Let me correct you with what you just said. The point is United is not out of cash, but the problem is we have to see some
Eddie,
players
before
off
before
before we bring in some
Eddie,
players. Like the same
Eddie,
thing to Wan-Bissaka.
Eddie,
We saw Wan-Bissaka off before we brought in some players. That's the situation.
Eddie, wait. I saw that on United stand on
Uh-huh.
Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they cannot come out and just bring out information that they are not. I saw it that was 2 days ago. They were saying like they need cash, they need players to go, and then before they
That
can get Ugati. So
that's
I just
exactly
want you
that
to confirm that.
what exactly I'm trying to tell you. We are not out of cash. The problem is we have to see some players off before we bring in some players. That's not out of cash.
Okay. So is the deal going to be done?
Now, United and PSG have agreed on 60 million pounds. Yeah, and I think both parties are
Wow.
positive on that deal that the player will be a United player before the end of this transfer window. So I think in 2 weeks' time, everything will be done. Since both parties are interested, I think they've agreed on the tag price. I think let's call it a deal, like a done deal. Yeah.
Let's call it a done deal for sure. Sammy, still on Manchester United, we saw a news about the players they bought from Manchester United. I think about five of them. Yeah, Eddie, five from Ajax. Ajax paid just 23 million for that five players. And United ended up paying 263 million for those five players. Is it realistic?
Yeah, I think at that beginning stages, their kids were young and they were still developing. So you can see that they've added values to themselves. So that makes them expensive. So it shows the transition of a player from the beginning stage to now that stage they've gotten to. So that is why their prices have shot up that high.
Right direction teams.
We talked about Mamardashvili
Yeah.
actually going to Liverpool, but it's like the player is making interest or you turn to Manchester United. Do you think is he can bench Onana?
I think for me, he can bench Onana, yeah. Looking at Onana's performance for Manchester United, it has not been like top performance. You know, Onana is capable of doing anything in the goalpost. He will try and create something about him, and he will pick the headlines the next day after their game. For me, I think Mamadash is a serious goalkeeper, and he will give Onana like that competition. If he's to move to Manchester United, which I doubt, it will be a surprising move. But I think his preferred destination would be Liverpool. I don't know for the player's side. Maybe he thinks he can compete with Andrew Onana. For Alisson Becker, for sure, he said there's no way he can bench Alisson Becker in Liverpool. But for Manchester United, if he wants to compete and fight for a position, I think Manchester United is the best place. For Liverpool, he will just go and understudy Alisson Becker until maybe he leaves the club, then he will take over as the number one. But if he goes to Manchester United for sure, and I know for sure, by January, Onana will be on the bench and he'll be the goalpost. Yeah.
So Eddie, Manchester United and Tottenham are actually were battling for Eze, and right now his release clause is expiring, and now Crystal Palace can ask any amount for the player. Do you think United can still move for the player?
So concerning Eze, since Manchester United is still interested in him, now it's not only Manchester United who are interested in him. Tottenham is also interested. So now it depends on who fights more or who shows much more interest in him. And now since I think his contract is expiring, but there will be other clubs who also show interest. And at this critical point, he can just end up in any club that he wants. So let's still keep that aspect open. Yeah, it can be a surprising move.
And news reaching me right now shows that Raheem Sterling is open to a move to any club, but the thing is, Chelsea will not force him to go to a club that he wouldn't want. So now I think he has accepted that he will be moving away from Stamford Bridge before the transfer window close. So they are still exploring options together. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your time. And if you just join us and you are new, remember to hit the subscription button, like and share the video. And hey, next video is coming on your way, and probably pretty much Premier League will be coming on your way as well. See you in the next video.